Mercedes drivers George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both acknowledged that they were perplexed by their lack of speed during Friday practice for the British Grand Prix. Both of the drivers in Silverstone's Friday practice sessions finished outside the top 10. The fastest laps by the pair were more than a second slower than Red Bull driver and early pacesetter Max Verstappen's best. Neither of the Mercedes drivers used the soft tires throughout the opening hour of racing. According to Russell, when the soft tires were finally installed in second practice, they anticipated to be higher in the order than they actually were. "Definitely not our finest Friday," Russell said. "We need to try and get to the bottom of it because the pace in FP1 was looking reasonably good on the medium tire. We thought we were right up there if we took the softs, but in FP2 we were nowhere. So we just need to try and understand that. We definitely made quite a few changes from FP1 to FP2, but we maybe didn't compensate enough for the conditions. All learning, but just a difficult afternoon for sure." Russell believes that the warm weather may have affected their performance because the track reached temperatures of above 40 C in both sessions. "We've seen a small trend that when the temperature is hotter, we seem to take a bit of a step backwards," he explained. "We've got some ideas why that is. I'm still a bit sweaty since I jumped out the car, so I just need to dig into the data of the team and see what we can do for tomorrow." Hamilton, Russell's teammate, claimed that after the 2 hours of running, both Mercedes drivers were unsure of how to configure their vehicles. "Me and George were just talking and he's like, 'I'm over here with the setup, and I'm over here,'" Hamilton said. "He was like, 'I'm thinking of coming to where you are, but then your lap time's slow.' And I was like, 'Well, I was thinking to come to where you are.' Car-wise, we're battling the same thing the majority of the time. It's a tough car to drive, and no matter what we do to set up in that, it continues to be a tough car to drive. But I think on a single lap, I didn't feel any improvement between tires, which shows something's wrong. We're missing something. Then on the long run, it didn't seem to be too bad. So that's a positive at least." On the soft tires, Hamilton acknowledged that the car didn't feel particularly great, and that the Mercedes balance was the toughest problem. "This track's really about trying to weigh the scales the whole way around," he said, "making compromises here and there. There's such a fine edge on the balance and such a big balance window. It's back and forth. It's never just like here and you can just drive it. It's like one end to the other end of the spectrum, from braking to turn in into mid to exit of every corner. So it's a good battle." Hamilton said the team will work over the evening to find a solution ahead of qualifying on Saturday. "The balance, we'll try and work on it tonight, and Mick Schumacher could do some work in the sim tonight. So hopefully we'll come up with something tomorrow." After a poor weekend in Austria, Mercedes is hoping to bounce back in its home race. Following the amazing package of advancements unveiled at Monte Carlo, Toto Wolff's team will deliver yet another set of enhancements at Silverstone. This improvement may be worth 3/10 of that. The improvement will feature a new front wing and significant alterations to the car's back end, which has been a weak spot for Mercedes this season. The team principal has classified these improvements as important, especially in the long run. The Mercedes W14 has undergone major alterations in 2023, and James Allison's technical team is looking for confirmation of this new technological direction. During the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, Mercedes fell short of initial expectations. The result was a race when Max Verstappen of Red Bull had huge lead. Given Austria's Spielberg track's small size, it appears that the W14 enhancement packages accomplished little to reduce Red Bull's lead. Mercedes traveled to Austria in the hopes of continuing their impressive showing and momentum from Montreal. The W14, on the other hand, underperformed expectations. Therefore, it is now necessary to make additional improvements to ensure that Mercedes can eventually stay up with the Red Bulls. It was brutally difficult, even worse than we thought. We thought Austria could be better for us because the slow corners were only 3 and 4. Okay, to lose time there, but then we had to make up for it in the fast corners, and instead, we lose more time than our rivals in the last sector. In order to correctly balance the weight of the car, Lewis admitted that he removed a lot of load from the front wing, which was possible in qualifying on a low-fuel car, but not so much in the race. The W14's 100 kilograms load, which was still unbalanced at the rear and had significant understeer, made this instability worse. Our car was just slow. We had issues with the front and rear tires. We just weren't in the right operating window, admitted George Russell at the end of the race. "I'm positive because the track is more like Barcelona than Austria. The tires that will make their premiere this weekend, nevertheless, are surrounded by a great deal of doubt. Pirelli and a number of teams claim that their attitudes and performances are the same, but an Austrian team told us that the C1 front, which was tested during Barcelona practice, was stronger than the current specification. If this is the case, the W14 would suffer as a result of the amended requirements, which would favor Aston Martin and Ferrari in particular. That is, vehicles with a weaker front end. Silverstone will receive a fresh set of adjustments to improve the W14's tendency to move slowly, especially in the center of bends. The team claims that these modifications won't always match what was given to the Monte Carlo circuit. Toto Wolff's remarks from the previous weekend generated a lot of curiosity in the upgrades the team planned to make to its W14 for Silverstone. The package won't resemble the one offered in Monaco, though. At Monte Carlo, the cars of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell had new side pods, considerable changes to the front suspension, and upgrades to the vehicle's floor. The car's handling was improved, but more importantly, the factory indicator's factory data correlation was more reliable. But because further information has been disclosed by an insider, the update should not be dismissed. At Silverstone, the W14 will receive a new front wing, similar to what Ferrari did at Red Bull Ring. Even if the W14's front end is one of its strong points, Mercedes' goal with these upgrades is to increase the car's performance at moderate speeds through a re-evaluation of the flows directed towards the center and rear of the vehicle. The primary plane, which is now lower in the middle section and extends through the top flaps to the end plates, which are now rounded, has been modified along with all of the other parts of the aileron. Lewis Hamilton is interested in seeing how his W14, which has the new front wing, performs in front of the projected 480,000 spectators at Silverstone. We don't have a huge package here. There will be a new front wing. We hope to go in the right direction with these small steps. The aerodynamic macro component specification for Mercedes' inaugural season had not yet been modified. While the W14 is still being developed at the facility, work has already started on the 2024 vehicle, which will feature considerable chassis and mechanical improvements. I had a meeting with the team earlier this week. I spoke with the head of aerodynamics and the head of vehicle dynamics in view of next year, Lewis Hamilton outlined. However, as was previously said, this won't be the sole improvement because the W14's weaker area, the rear end, has undergone some alterations. Pictures of the disassembled Black Arrow in the English pit box revealed a number of curious components, including the radiator vents, bottom supports to prevent dangerous bends, and the rear suspension. What do you think then? Will these improvements allow Mercedes to get back to the lead? And will it improve their turns at low speeds? Please share your opinions in the comment section below. Tell us where you anticipate the British drivers will finish this weekend in the comments. As always, enjoy the race and thanks for watching.